And welcome everyone to our semifinal round of our first gym challenge here for the autumn season at Psychotherapy Place at Pico Rivera, California. I am Jesus Coronel. That is Avi Vatsalai. We have our first semifinal of Giovanni Costa and Raghav Malaviya.
Yeah, so these are two very well-known players. Raghav, consistently a day 2 / top competitor. So is Gio. Actually, the reigning Sacramento regional champion. So you know, that might change. Not Sacramento, sorry, San Antonio.
I was gonna say Michael Zhang won in Sacramento last year. Anyway, we have our teams here. Gio once again rocking that signature Dragon Knight of his. With that choice band, he actually has a plushie with that choice band, the Dragon Knight. Continuing on, it's going to be the Guard Shaman, Center War, Whimsicott, Golden Go, and Amoongus. Raghav on the Magmar, Rillaboom, Annihilate, Sneasler, Dondozo, and the Alola Ninetales.
Yeah, so this actually, I asked Raghav earlier with the how the solo Dondozo is going. He said it feels pretty good, and it's very interesting, right? Because besides that pairing with Ting Lu, it hasn't really been like a very.
It's also had a brief stint on its solo duty at NAIC 2023 where Alex Gomez-Berna did end up winning NAIC with a solo dozo, but that's just historical standpoints. Yeah. It's still good if you position it properly. Raghav going to lead Magmar Ninetales for game number 1. Gio going to lead Golden Go and Amoongus.
Yeah, so this is honestly, I don't think this is a very good lead for Gio here, right? Because this Ninetales does not want to be on the receiving end of either of these Pokemon. So even with the follow me, right? Because obviously Make It Rain's a spread move, so it's going to be a little tough here for Raghav. But knowing him, he probably has if he has Dozo in the back, he'll probably just switch that in.
Well, no Dozo comes out just yet. We're going to see this Rage Powder redirect, potentially this Magmar. We're going to see the Aurora get set up by this Ninetales, so it will provide that defensive maneuvership for Raghav as this Make It Rain gets launched. Ninetales, unfortunately, Ninetales is still quad weak to Steel types because of that Ice and Fairy type. It will not take it. Magmar takes it beautifully. Yeah,
so I guess Raghav is willing to take that trade, right? Because that Auroraville.
I forgot about this. Fire Spin comes out from this Magmar. It's normally not very accurate, and it actually plays well into the solo dozo because we can tell you it has Yawn, and Fire Spin, when connected, traps an opponent, and this Amoongus is a victim of it as Rillaboom switches in.
Yeah, this is actually very interesting. Yeah, the Fire Spin is very interesting here. And Rillaboom comes in. And now that Golden Go's -1, like, both of these mons are going to take it very well. And now, the interesting thing is, Amoongus can't really do much here.
No, it's trapped.
Yeah, it's trapped, and, like, the best it could do is, like, a Pollen Puff here, right? And not going to really do anything there. And yeah, now that it's trapped in by the bulky Magmar, honestly, that was an excellent trade for Raghav there.
Yeah, excellent trade there. As we can see, Woodhammer going into a double resisted hit of Dragonite with that Dragonite flying typing, double resisting that grass type Woodhammer. But now Dragonite's also trapped by the Fire Spin.
Yeah, so now this reminds me of back when Raghav. This is why I thought of Sacramento, but he ran a similar team like this with Magma Storm Heatran instead. So this reminds me a lot of that. He's just using Fire Spin instead.
I also need to inform that this has been a popular concept at the end of Regulation F. I specifically saw this in the senior division, where it's like a team using Sand Tomb next to a solo dozo to one of the Yon to make sure to get this.
Yeah, exactly. It's a callback to that sort of team. So instead, he's using it on Magmar, which is also a very bulky Pokemon.
And while Giovanni cannot switch out any of his Pokemon, Raghav can, and it is indeed that solo dozo.
Here comes the Dondozo.
It should be pretty comfortable, unless, of course, Gio calls out the Spores for that slot. Choice Band Stomping Action does not do a whole lot of damage to the Magmar. Now Magmar loses an overheat. This Amoongus is not protected, and because it was trapped, it never had a chance to switch out away from that overheat. But okay, so Gio's definitely saving his hair from the back.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? Because it is a little bit a precarious situation here, and but Dozo's like very well positioned here, right? Because especially since this Goldengo doesn't have Thunderbolt, it can't actually hit the Dozo.
No, it cannot. And Whimsicott comes into play for Gio as his last Pokemon. Meaning it could just encore this Magmar to overheat and prevent the Whimsicott from getting trapped. Or potentially you can encore to follow me, but that'd be the worst case scenario because that allows the Dondozo to just freely use its moves. Instead, Magmar wants to reset a special attack drop and spots back to Rillaboom.
Yeah, and actually that's a really good play by Raghav, right? He's thinking a few more turns in advance, right? Because he knows that again, Whimsicott protects to see what he actually goes for, right? So he's the Encore. Now he's getting hit by this resisted Stomping Tantrum.
In the Aurora Veil as well, it's Wave Crash into this Dragonite, so hold on a minute. I think Dragonite's not tracked anymore because of the Fire Spin switching out from the Magmar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I recall how that works. Get a bit of grassy terrain recovery for each of these Pokemon. And yes, the Fire Spin is indeed gone. Dragonite, though, not in a great spot to go for that Stopping Tantrum. I don't think it has a better choice because, well, I think Geo's better off encoring this Dondozo to Wave Crash.
Yeah, so, actually, that's interesting. Even though both Mons resist it, it's just the chip from Wave Crash is, like, enough to, like, for it to, like, be okay.
Ooh, hold on a minute. Did the Wave Crash target the Dragonite now because of the Encore, or did it unfortunately go into the Whimsicott? That's actually going to be really important. Dondozo takes that pretty well. Dragonite's going to go down in his Wave Crash!
Yeah, so that's a very nice nice targeting decision there, right? Because I believe it still goes onto the target. So, he's okay getting Encored there, and Wave Crash picks up the KO. And now, it's interesting, because I believe there's one more turn... if I remember correctly, there's one more turn of Aurora Veil. So it's gonna come down to this.
Oh no, it's gone now.
Just turn. Okay, so it just went out. But
the interesting thing here is, well, this Dondozo is unaware, which isn't a common ability on solo Dozos. You normally see Oblivious, for this specific reason. Just because Make It Rain will drop to the little special attack stat, but because of the unaware, is not going to be aware of the drops from Make It Rain, but it should care about this Rillaboom going for Terra Fire.
Yeah, so this Rillaboom, Assault Vest, Terra Fire, I'm going to resist anything coming out from either one of these.
And the Woodhammer is going to be the lock again.
And honestly, the Woodhammer, I mean, it kind of need eventually...
Oh, never mind, Shadow Ball.
Yeah, so I think it doesn't want to have to take the drops from Make It Rain to deal with the Rillaboom later. But this Woodhammer's still probably going to do so much.
I mean, that's what the fence is not showing its proper colors. Wave Crash into Golden Go.
This is going to do a lot.
It will. Yeah. It does happen.
Yeah, so like for a supportive Dozo, that's doing a lot of damage here. And I mean,
its base attack's still pretty high.
Yeah, exactly, right, which is what I was about to get to there. And so the Golden Go was like in a very interesting position, right? It locked into Shadow Ball just so it can get the Dozo, deal proper damage to Dozo.
Not only that, but there's a Magmar in the back as well, so you can't really click Make It Rain.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's a good lock-in, but at the same time, I don't think Geo will have enough firepower to necessarily deal with. I don't think Geo will have enough firepower for this, personally. Yeah,
funny how you mentioned firepower. That firepower came from the Magmar because that Dragonite was trapped forever, for as long as it was for that Magmar staying on the field. And thanks to that Aurora Veil, it's able to stay on, keep Dragonite trapped, and keep taking chip damage, which allowed Dondozo to eventually chip it down with the help of Rillaboom. And Raghav definitely has Geo in a precarious spot here because, well, Raghav can just do whatever he pleases. This Moonblast will go into this Rillaboom, does a decent amount of damage. There's a Shadow Ball. Will this finish off the Dondozo here before he launches a Wave Crash? It will, but I believe Woodhammer's enough to knock out the Whimsicott even with the terrain being gone.
So this is actually a little interesting. So the terrain is 1.3 boost. Yes, it does pick it up. Rillaboom's strong.
We don't know.
Hit.
Oh my god, another one.
Might not have known. But this is actually a very interesting position now, right? Because
I think we gotta look at Magmar's HP stat, because if it's decently low, does the Shadow Ball knock it out from low, or...
Magmar is pretty specially bulky, so I think it can survive a Shadow Ball.
So we're just picking on an overheat miss, I believe is what Geo's going for here, if I recall.
Yeah, and also, once Raghav's Rillaboom actually has high horsepower. So it does have... once the Encore ends, it will have the ability to hit it effectively.
Yeah, I think it's just something of what Magmar does here for Raghav, because overheat KOs, Fire Spin won't, but it will get the chip damage down importantly.
Yeah. I think he wants to go to the overheat here, sure. Because even...
Or protects. Hold on a minute. This Golden Go next to knockout with a Shadow Ball for the Choice Specs and the Assault Vest. We might have a brand new game to showcase here. It knocks out the critical hit!
So, okay, now...
Now it just comes down to whether or not Magmar survives the Shadow Ball.
Yeah. Magmar needs to survive the Shadow Ball, and it needs to get a crit here. I'm not a crit. It has to hit the overheat.
Yeah, it has to hit the overheat because it's based on 140 power, 130 power. There you go.
Yeah.
It's not faster. It needs to survive the Shadow Ball for this Choice Specs. Does it survive? No!
No, it does not. And, Choice Specs Golden goes very strong there.
Definitely think we could have saw a different game if that Shadow Ball did not get a critical hit. But nonetheless, Geo wins game number 1.
Yeah, no. Well played by both players. That was a very close match there. It came down to those crits, right? They both had those endgames in mind, but it just happened to be like, need a little bit of luck help them out. And, that's Pokemon at the end of the day. But yeah, in terms of the Pokemon they brought,
I need to interject here. I'm sorry, I need to interject here. Maybe Raghav can put a more emphasis towards the trapping gameplay with the Magmar and Dondozo, because the trapping did work up until that critical hit, but it's just perhaps the trapping wasn't enough to maybe facilitate this Dondozo.
Yeah, so I think that's fine, but the thing is personally, I guess maybe the Dondozo doesn't really like taking those Shadow Balls very well.
No, it obviously does not.
Yeah, so that's the only issue with that method there. It doesn't have enough. Doesn't seem to have enough HP in the tank to take those, even under the Aurora Veil, unfortunately. But I personally think that that trade Raghav took in the beginning might not have been good. I mean, obviously, I'm sure he was willing to make it, but it's just playing down one Pokemon just for Aurora Veil is kind of it's an interesting. I want to see how he adjusts with that. Maybe he didn't want the Ninetales to go down, but he kind of had to let it go down because he didn't have any good switches, right?
Yeah, so, this Ninetales only has one good option for an offensive move, which is Blizzard. Otherwise, it's really just playing the supportive role that you see sub Ninetales go for. Because Ninetales dysregulation has been a mix of offense and support.
Yeah,
we've seen a mix of both here, and it's going to be the repeat lead from Magmar and Ninetales from Raghav. And it's Dragonite Golden Go for Geo this time around.
So, Raghav going with the same plan he went last game. Maybe he's just, interestingly enough, he does threaten this D-Knight here, right? So, I mean, if he wants to, he can actually go for he can go for, interesting, can go for Icicles? That's an interesting one right there.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that Icicle Spear is really meant for this Annihilate.
Yeah, really interesting on this. But
Golden Ghost's going to switch out here for this Incineroar for the Intimidate, but I think it's more so to resist Overheat from Magmar, if I am to be perfectly honest here. Dragonite. Oh, wait, we got a Terra going on. This is Raghav's Terra going first.
Yeah, so he's tearing the Ninetales, expecting the Make It Rain, I believe, here.
Yeah, it is that Make It Rain prediction there to Terra Fire, which for some reason still is weak to rock types, which unfortunately there is no rock type moves to be had. Gio's going to go ahead and tear the Dragonite to normal.
Yeah, so this is actually very interesting, right? That's actually
they'll open and tear it for a different Pokemon.
Yeah, and not only that, I'd say that's a successful bait by Gio there, right? Because Gio just went for the Make It Rain last game, right?
Because he got the Extreme Speed here, Terra normal choice man, and there's no longer Snow Boost, but Ninetales survives. Here's Blizzard from this Ninetales, gonna hit the Dragonite and the Incineroar. No freezes, and the Incineroar perfectly predicted the Overheat.
So Raghav went for a really aggressive play there, and I'm actually kind of surprised there because he was content with just getting the Aurora Veil off last game, but now he's in a really interesting position because I don't know if Magmar's faster than the Dragonite, right? So now
we won't know because of the priority bracket. Down goes Ninetales to the Extreme Speed, no chance of Aurora Veil. Definitely was trying to predict the Dragonite not tearing there.
Yeah. So the interesting part about this is because Follow Me and Extreme Speed are in the same priority bracket, it does just go based off their speed. So we know Magmar is slower.
Ooh, and the UV light's gone just as Magmar traps Dragonite with that Fire Spin.
And it was a good, interesting prediction by Raghav, right? I see what he was going for, but at the end of the day, it did end up kind of backfiring here. He lost his Terra and lost his Ninetales really early. But I'm pretty sure he could weasel his way back and no problem. It's just now he can't really do much to Geo on his end, right?
No, I don't really think there's much he can do because even though this Rillaboom switches in, it's still not protecting itself from the extreme speed, which without the EV Light on Magmar, it will be going down because of the Choice Band.
Yeah, so now Raghav instantly down to 2 more Pokemon left.
You did mention this Rillaboom has high horsepower. Doesn't even know what to go for. It just wants to get Dragonite out of here.
Yeah, so
but now that just comes down to who does Incineroar go for Flare Blitz.
Yeah, so we can see what Incineroar goes for, and they probably did go for a attack here.
There down goes Raghav's Rillaboom, and now he's down to 1 Pokemon, while Giovanni still has 3 left.
And not only that, he doesn't have the Aurora Veil to support him because he went for Blizzard turn 1. Now, I believe his last Pokemon is Dondozo. Oh no, yeah, I believe his last Pokemon might be Dondozo, but it does not necessarily.
It is Dozo, and I don't see this ending well for Raghav. I believe Shadow Ball will be enough for a 2-hit knockout. You will knock off the leftovers away from this Dondozo thanks to this Incineroar support pool. Do we see the forfeit? No, not quite yet. I was expecting one earlier, but I guess we're going to play it on. My apologies. A big critical hit for the Shadow Ball. Knockout's going to finish it off. Giovanni Costa returns the Grand Finals with a 2-0 victory over Raghav Malaviya.
Very interesting. I mean, it was... Honestly, I like it looked very. It didn't look very good. Old Raghav did, but like again, it was like a multi-game. I felt like it was like a multi-game raid, right? But I mean, it didn't end up working out for him. But as again, Gio played that very well. He actually, in fact, he actually predicted that Raghav predicted that he would go for the Make It Rain, so he just swapped out, right?
That's the mind games we play, ladies and gentlemen. That is the mind games.
Yeah, so there's good mind games on that turn 1, right? And it just snowballed into a victory for him. So good job to Gio, as always.
All right, and now that semifinal's done, we will be awaiting the winner between Brandon Davis and Brian Collins. The winner of that will face Giovanni Costa as he looks to amass another League Challenge victory. We'll be right back with our finalist right after this.